Jason Worth, perfect day offensively, including a home run. Raul Ibanez, Pedro Feliz. Chris Coast gets the start behind the plate, then Brett Myers. The reason Coast is starting, Carlos Ruiz has an oblique injury he suffered yesterday. They had to put him on the disabled list, and they brought up their top catching prospect, Lou Marson, to back up Coast. Take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Jorge De La Rosa. George, a year ago, the final 6-7 weeks, he was sensational.
Well, he really was. This number right here, I like the 130 strikeouts, 62 walks, command and carryover. I think his command of his fastball must be there in order for him to carry over exactly what he did a year ago, and that was to go out and throw a tremendous amount of strikes with it. And I think to freeze the left-handers in their lineup. You know, you're going to have Utley, you're going to have to deal with Ryan Howard, two big bops in the bats, and I think he can do that with the stuff that he'll offer.
Here's the defenders behind him in the outfield with a right-hander on the hill. Seth Smith's in left field. Ryan Spilborg's back to center, and then Brad Hoppin right. Garrett Atkins and Todd Helton on the corners. Clint Barmas has been swinging the bat well. He's at second. Tulowitzki, of course, at short. Yorvi Torrealba doing the catching. What a bonus for Clint Hurdle. A lot of times there is a number one catcher and then very often a precipitous drop-off to the guy who's number two. That's not the case with the Rockies.
No, it is not the case at all. Yorvi Torrealba was an everyday guy in the 07 season, and then getting a day off today. Chris Iannetta, they rely on Torrealba not only from the defensive side, but the offensive punch.
So here's Jimmy Rollins, the switch-hitting perennial all-star for the Phils to begin the ball game. De La Rosa struggled early in spring training, but finished very strong. And the first pitch of the ball game is a little bit high. Rollins was 1 for 4 yesterday. His one hit came in the first inning.
And he will show a little bit of patience against guys that have a history of throwing balls. He's not going to chase balls out of the strike zone. De La Rosa last year, 6-2, 462 earned run average at Coors Field.
And you know, with De La Rosa out there, George, to embellish your point, that's going to be the game plan. Make him throw strikes because he has a history of, at times, getting out of the strike zone.
Well, the numbers bear out. When he threw strikes in the second half, 7-3, 3.08 earned run average. The opposition hit 228 against him. Prior to that, he was 3-5 the first half, 762 earned run average.
That's a good looking pitch there. Just cut inside at 94. 3-1.
Now, what Drew's talking about, trying to work inside to not allow a hitter to extend. But Jimmy Rollins is one of those guys that crowds the plate on both sides. So it's going to give you the appearance a little bit in. You see the knees go back and create some problems. Good pitch on the 3-1 count.
And Tulowitzki tucks it away. 1 up, 1 down, just like you want to draw it up. Time for our Bird Auto keys to the game. George?
Well, opening day fun and the win yesterday, it's gone. It's time to turn the page and get after these guys the second day. Played full 27 outs, which I thought they did yesterday as a ball club offensively, defensively. In the middle of the bullpen, I mean, there's a history with De La Rosa. He's a 6th-inning guy. So that 7th inning and 8th inning people are going to have to play a prominent role in this game if his pitch count starts to climb.
Another switch hitter steps up. The Flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino.
Is that the new nickname you gave him?
No, he's had that nickname for a while. 0-2. Jeff Houston, I think, applied that to Victorino a couple seasons back.
Yeah, I think it was 2 seasons back. I just thought, you know what, it sounds good. He's from Hawaii. Why not?
Lives in Las Vegas now. He's a fun player to watch. 0-2, slider in the dirt. Good idea. 1-2. Last year, the Rockies were 0-5 against the Phils. Were outscored 50-21. So to start out the 09 season against them and win in convincing fashion, well done. Foul ground. Atkins is not going to have a play. Well, 08 versus 09, just 1 ball game, obviously. Or 4 ball games in, I should say. 30 runs. It took the Rockies 10 games last year. Remember how woeful the offense was out of the gate. This ball is going to drop in front of Seth Smith. Not many long balls early, George, and so far this year the Rockies have hit 8 in 4 ball games.
Well, again, I think that's the health of a couple of guys. Tulowitzki's hit 2. It's made a difference in it. Atkins hit 1 yesterday.
Yeah, they had 7 solo home runs until Garrett went deep with a man on yesterday in the 3rd.
Well, one thing De La Rosa worked on in spring training with Bob Apodaca is to get a better move to first, vary the move to first, to try and control the running game even better.
And that's where it helps to have a guy like Davey Lopes as your first base coach.
Quick strike on Chase Utley.
There's Davey Lopes.
Pretty good base stealer.
Yeah, very good. And a smart guy, too. Not just because he was fast, but he could read pitchers as well as anybody. I learned a lot from him when he was a coach with me down in Texas Rangers.
He went to that baseball mecca in Kansas, Washburn University, did Davey Lopes. Swung on a missed 0-2. And our good friend Jerry Schimmel, the radio voice forever of the Nuggets, now the head baseball coach at Metro State, went to Washburn.
Drew, I got my stopwatch out early tonight for the runners and for the pitchers to home, just so you don't have to tell me to,
Thank
get
goodness.
it again. See it
Well,
right here?
just so you know, Huey, I got one too, so we'll see how close you are.
Okay.
Here's the 0-2. And that just missed. Home plate umpire is Jerry Davis. Jerry's the crew chief.
Trying to take a ball away from him on the outer half of the plate, squared up just perfectly of where Torrealba wanted. It is a ball. It's off the plate. Pays off when you have that type of eye at the plate, Chase Utley.
See if Victorino has a read on De La Rosa. Not moving, and it slowly hit to Tulowitzki. There's one on the first. Not quite in time. For a guy that had hip surgery about 3.5 months ago, Utley doing a pretty good job moving.
Well, the ball's not hit very hard. Matter of fact, it shatters the bat. You can see the bat split off and go, but it was hit hard enough. Then you look at it, the quick feed from Tulowitzki and a very quick turn, because you know that Victorino's bearing down on you. Look how quick he gets it to Barman. Some Barman's trying to get out of the way. Victorino was already there on the bag. Pretty good turn, really. And a nice pitch by Helton.
Yeah, if anybody else but Victorino, I think that Clint would have been able to get a little bit more onto that throw, but realized the only way he could do it was a jump throw.
Well, the big kid from St. Louis is at the plate, Ryan Howard, and he takes ball 1. Howard had a rough day at the yard yesterday. He was 0 for 4, and he grounded into 3 double plays. If there's one month that he struggles in, it is typically this month. Lifetime .230 hitter in April, a .168 last year. How about that for a changeup, George? That work?
Well, you like that because you like the movement and the belief of the guy behind the plate to call it. And as a pitcher, you go with him. When you're on that same page, sure makes life pretty easy.
One. Followed up a nice changeup with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Away from him. See, that's the key to it, to keep it away from him. Even though he likes to extend, but with that type of velocity, it's going to be difficult to do anything with that type of pitch.
I'm laughing because now you're not sure what's coming as a hitter. 83-mile-an-hour changeup, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. What are you going to get?
He may get the hook. He got a hard slider in the mid-80s. Outfield, as you'd expect, very deep, straight up for Ryan Howard, who a year ago, 46 home runs, 22 went to left field. Now it's out full.
2 outs, you had an 0-2 count, and they work it to a full count. The thing you're concerned about, Helton's going to move out behind Utley, and then what that does, it just allows a big head start at first base. When the ball hit into the gap, you could give up a run pretty quick. So important to go ahead and attack that hitter.
Swung on and missed, so De La Rosa strikes out Howard. There was a hit and a man left, nothing else across. Good start for Jorge De La Rosa. Got him on a slider. Ball on FSN is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. By E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. By Quest, get in the loop and join the community that's changing the way people connect. By Burt Chevrolet, where the 09 Tahoe 4-wheel drive LT is under $32,500. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest has low fares with no hidden fees, where what you see is what you pay. We go to the bottom of the first. Ryan Spilborghs against Brett Myers, and the fastball's off the plate, ball one. Spilly's off to a great start, hitting .389, 5 doubles, leading big league baseball in the opening week of the season. Myers had a rough first outing. Jeff Houston described it a few moments ago during our open against the Atlanta Braves. Gave up 3 home runs in the first few innings. He actually pitched better in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, but the Phils lost to the Braves, 2-1. Myers, George, has always pitched well here at Coors Field.
He sure has, and I think he's followed a little bit of the same suit Kurt Schilling used to. A lot of fastballs, a lot of changeups, tries to stay away from the curveballs, those type of pitches. That was a slider at 85.
So Spilborgh's ahead 3-1. Seth Smith on deck. With Cole Hamels being pushed back, Myers got the opening day nod. 3rd straight year, in fact, that Myers has pitched the opener for Charlie Manuel. So Rockies knocked around Hamels yesterday in his 09 debut. This ball is hit to Jason Worth and right. Let's take a look at Clint Hurdle's lineup this evening. In the 2-hole, Seth Smith. Todd Helton will bat 3rd. Then Atkins, who had a nice ball game yesterday, a couple of hits. Brad Hopp will bat 5th, and Tulowitzki. Yorvi Torrealba in his 2nd game of the year. Clint Barmer scored 3 runs yesterday, and then De La Rosa, who had 6 RBIs a year ago. Fastball's in there for a strike. One and one. Brett Myers last year, George, in July, found himself with a 3-9 record, a .584 ERA, and the Phillies said, you know what, we want to send you down to work on your mechanics. And a lot of veteran pitchers, they could refuse to and say, hey, you know what, I got a multi-year contract, I want to stay up, and I'll work on it here. Myers said, all right, no problem. He went down for a few weeks, he came back and went 7-4 with a .306 ERA the rest of the way.
Total changed man. He went down there and got his release point, confidence back a little bit. First curveball he's thrown in the game at 78.
2-2 on Smith.
Well, the numbers, if you look at it, I think what really destroyed his year a year ago was the road record. 3-8, 621 earned run average. To think in his man box in Philly, 7-5, 301 earned run average.
And he got him with a breaking pitch, so Smith goes down. And that'll bring up Todd Helton. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Myers.
Well, last Sunday in a loss to Atlanta, 8 hits, 4 runs. He did walk a batter, struck out 6, 97 pitches. He will establish the fastball. That's pretty obvious. Only 4 off-speed pitches to the first 2 batters. Relies on the defense. He will put the ball in play. That's what he likes to do, preferably on the ground.
Todd yesterday drove in 3 for the first time since the early part of last summer. It was the 116th time in his big league career he's driven in at least 3 in a game. Two and 0. You know, in years past, since Todd has flipped over to the north side of 30, and he's 35 right now. Clint Hurdle has talked about, giving him more time off, but it's always a fist fight getting Helton out of the lineup. This year, Todd doesn't want to sit. Day games after night games, you're not going to see Todd. So pretty safe to say tomorrow afternoon he'll have at least the first part of the day off. Maybe Clint, if necessary, would use him coming off the bench late. Really wants to make sure that back stays sound for the long haul. Strike 3 on the corner. Back door with the breaking pitch. Brett Myers with a very nice start. Couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first. No scores. We go to the second. Send it down to Alana Rizzo with this evening's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana?
Thanks very much, Drew. I'm over here in right field in foul territory. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about Jorge De La Rosa. I talked to Bob Apodaca earlier today about what's going on with him in terms of inconsistency and some of the improvements that he's made. And he told me that the beginning of 2008 and spring training of this year really mirrored each other, as we've talked about before in this broadcast. He said he understands the gifts that he has, but he's also very critical of himself and has set high expectations for himself, as you might imagine. The one thing he needed to work on was his emotional control. If something negative happened on the mound, he had a hard time shaking it off. Sometimes it would take 2 or 3 or 4 innings. Sometimes he wasn't even able to finish his outing. He said that's the one area where he's worked on the most, and it's one thing that's helped. It's what happened against Mexico City and his one outing against the Dodgers in spring training. However, the last few games he has managed to control the damage, and he has been able to come back from adversity a lot better now than earlier in spring training. Drew?
Hey, Alana, you're absolutely right. Team psychologist Ron Svetovich has been instrumental in that process for Jorge De La Rosa. One thing before we depart momentarily, can you say Jorge De La Rosa again?
You're going to comment on my coat. Jorge De La Rosa.
Why does it sound phrased so much better when she says it than when we say it?
Because you don't roll the R's. You got to roll the R's.
De La Rosa.
De La Rosa.
You guys go ahead and practice that.
Jorge De La Rosa. Was that better?
That's much better. Good job.
It still doesn't sound anywhere close to the way you make it sound. Thanks, Alana.
Thanks, Drew.
You betcha. One out, Raul Ibanez at the plate. And that's a strike up and in at 93. George, put your scout hat on. Huey, put your scout hat on for a moment. You see this young man throwing the baseball, mid-90s fastball, plus breaking ball, plus changeup. What kind of report are you following?
Well, that's the thing about it. When you start to look at it, for me, you just see everything's a plus pitch. Fastball is a plus. The slider's a plus. So now what you got to look at is see how consistent he is into the strike zone, because quite honestly, when you look at a guy like this, Drew, you say, why so many organizations has this kind of stuff? And now all of a sudden, if you would have watched him at the end of last year, you would have said, is this the same guy I watched in Milwaukee? That's not even close. He had made the turn to come forward to be able to throw the baseball with authority and to do what he wants to do.
And I looked at it as a guy that you're just a great amount on pure stuff. He's a number 2 starter knocking on the door as a number 1 starter. And that's where you do your homework as a scout. And that's what the scouts, we have numerous scouts down here at the game every single night, and they're checking out the other opposing clubs and doing all that. They're grading Jorge as he's starting tonight so they can turn in reports. And this is what the Rockies did, allowed them to get Jorge. And that's the thing. At this level, it becomes mental.
See you later. I mean, there's only so many pitches you can cover, and then he throws you a 95-mile-an-hour heater on the block. Well, this is a good hitter at Ibanez.
Ks per 9 inning among the Rock starters all time, folks, all time. You're talking about Estacio, you're talking about Ruffin, you're talking about Ubaldo. It's De La Rosa's the guy that has it. He averaging 8.86 strikeouts per 9. All time among starters.
That was good, George.
Kinda.
He spent
those 2 years of winter ball.
I was going to say he spent some time in Dominican.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun down there. I really enjoyed playing baseball.
Where were you again?
I was in Santiago for Aguila.
Aguilas.
Yep.
I saw Aguila play a year ago against Licey. 2-0.
About a
as
2-hour
Pedro
trip.
Feliz is at the plate.
2-hour trip from the capital, but only about a 40-minute trip to Sosua. One of the prettiest beaches I've ever been on. At that time, though, there weren't any hotels. There was just some American ball players playing catch with a football.
2-1. Two outs, nobody on, top of the second. And a little bit low, 3 balls and a strike. Shattered bat, grabs it. That's all for the Phils in the second. Strong inning again for De La Rosa. Middle of 2, no score. Amco plays of the week, the opening week of the season. How about back-to-back home runs? Troy Tulowitzki and Chris Iannetta. What a performance in Game 2 against Arizona for Ubaldo Jimenez, 7 shutout. First home run of Dexter Fowler's career came this week. And Garrett Atkins, he's got a few home runs. 2-run shot yesterday, the first of, I'm sure, many this year. Our clutch plays of the week from Amco. And Garrett Atkins steps in, takes a breaking pitch out of the strike zone, ball 1. Bottom of the second inning, Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Houston, Alana Rizzo, and a line drive. Nice pickup by Feliz. And he throws to Ryan Howard. You know what? Pedro Feliz, George, for me, may be the best glove man at third in the National League.
Well, he's really good. Philly spent a lot of money on David Bell, and unfortunately had the bad back, so they've been looking for a third baseman, and they feel like they've found one. Defensively, he's very calm with his hands. Studied the ball all the way into the glove, able to backhand it. Strong, accurate throw to first base.
I think he's just one of those underrated guys. All the other guys have the big names, and Feliz just goes out there every year and puts up solid numbers.
Well, you know what, Jeff? When you play for a ball club, and he did that over in San Francisco until, when Barry left, they didn't win a lot of ball games, so he didn't get a lot of notice over there because of his guys that surrounded him. Jeff Kent, Barry Bonds, they had some pretty good players. So last year, I think going to Philadelphia, people figured out on the East Coast he's pretty good.
Pedro last year second among third basemen in the National League in fielding percentage. 2 years ago, he led all National League third basemen. 1-2. One thing Myers is doing in this ball game that he did not really do against Atlanta, he's throwing more breaking pitches, and he stayed ahead so far in the count.
Well, he has stayed ahead. I think that's one thing he did. Continues to do here.
This ball lined down the left field line. It's going to run to the corner. Extra bases for Brad Hopp. A one-out double for Hopp.
Really nice job of hitting by Brad Hopp. I mean, it's a curveball that's with your velocity down. Now, one thing Brad does, he really keeps his hands back well. So he gets off out onto that front foot. On the Hyundai cam, see the rotation, 12-6. It's going to drop straight down into it instead of trying to hook it. You're more inside out of that baseball than anything, and just sliced it out over the head down into that corner. Left-handed bat. Ball's going to run away from your outfield. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, that head positioning too, George. That was the other thing. Whenever you try to hit a ball the opposite field, your head's got to stay with the barrel of the bat.
Now Troy Tulowitzki. Good swing by Tulo.
Yeah, fastball down and away. What I want to show you in this swing by Brad Hopp, I thought it's pretty good. This leg always comes up. Go ahead and roll it, guys. As that leg starts to float, watch it when it comes up and stays down. But as it hits, this front side's coming. All right, but look at the hands. Look where these hands are on a breaking ball. Even though his hips are gone, everything else is gone, now it's pure strength for him to take the ball to the left side. He did that.
Center field and deep. Victorino going back, still going back, and this is gone. Tulowitzki's third of the year. And the Rockies lead it 2-0. A home run in each of the first 5 for the Rockies. They're 9th overall. Talk about crushing a baseball straight away.
Got a fastball that had a little late tilt to it up on the upper half of the strike zone, and he got underneath this thing and just lifted it and got to carry out over Victorino. There were some concerns late in spring as Troy started to still chase that high fastball, and then all those concerns got erased very quickly in Arizona. And to give you a slow motion look at this thing, watch the eyes of Tulowitzki as he makes contact. You talk about tracking a baseball. Folks, that's fun when he can do that. With that slow-mo cam on a Hyundai cam, you get a look at Troy and the explosion of what he saw.
The other thing, too, think about his 3 home runs now. Where have they been from left center field over? Nothing's been a pull home run. And when Troy's good, that's what a lot of hitters are good. They use the whole field, but be able to go dead center field. To me, that's a perfect swing because you're right on where that pitch was.
I was chatting with him around the batting cage this afternoon, and he said, you know what, I'm in a good place, and I just want to ride it. And he had not only is he a good place once the game starts at 6:05, 6:10, he had a good place in batting practice. He hit a couple of balls that almost went up on the concourse today, and some of those balls were in left center field, Huey, which now you're talking 450 feet.
Right, and that's when you know you're staying through it with your hips and everything. And a lot of guys can pull the ball down to 347 down the left field line, of course, right field. But some of those swings can just be arms and wrists. But now you think about being able to hit it that far, you have to generate all the way from your calves all the way up to your upper body.
Tulo last year did not hit his 3rd home run of the season. He battled injuries in the first half until July 2nd. This ball hard on the ground at Feliz. Torrealba's retired. 2 gone. That'll bring up Clint Barmas. Well, you know the drill with Taco Bell. If the Rockies score 7 or more, which they've been doing with regularity here in the opening week of the season, go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 in the afternoon.
Here with this, it's not pretty so far.
That's outside. 1 and 2 on Barmas. Breaking ball count, and he got a fastball, and Barmas off the shoe tops hits it in the air to right. Worth makes the catch in the inning. The Rockies got a double from Brad Hopp and a long home run from Troy Tulowitzki. Third of the year. A big shot to dead center field. 422 feet later it landed. And the Rockies have a 2-0 lead as we go to the top of the third. Jorge De La Rosa will face Chris Coast, Brett Myers, and then the top of the order. Chris Coast is getting his first start of the 09 season. Carlos Ruiz had started the first 4. Ruiz won't start for a while. He's on the disabled list after straining an oblique muscle yesterday. That's like the injury du jour the last year and a half, wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely. And I like Charlie Manuel's response. It used to be just called, I pulled a muscle in my side. Now it's an oblique.
Everything's got a fancy name.
It does. That's going to be a 2 to 4 week process for him, though.
No swing, 1 and 2 on Coast. Well, last year, you recall that Brian Spilborgh's had one of those. It was so severe, he was out the better part of 6 weeks.
And I think the position, too, that he plays, it's going to be a little more difficult to get back within 8, maybe even 10. They'll be shopping for another catcher.
They get Jerry Davis.
Yeah, right off the chest protector.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
a strong man back there.
You hear the loud thump. Just readjust that thing a little bit, make sure in case it comes back there again.
On the ground is short. Easy play for Troy Tulowitzki. Yesterday, you may recall, there was a controversial play involving Dexter Fowler running up the line. He beat a throw to first. Actually, the ball, I think, partially deflected off of him. Jerry Davis immediately called him out. Actually, the home plate umpire yesterday was Mike Everett, who called him out. Jerry Davis is the crew chief. Here's the play, and he said he was out of the baseline. A vociferous argument from Clint Hurdle followed. And you know what? We want to apologize because we learned something today. Because I was very upfront saying that, even though I think the umpires 99+% of the time get it right and they have a very difficult job, I thought they missed that one. And in actuality, we both talked to Jerry Davis today for a while, George.
Well, in fairness to Jerry, Jerry actually called and had me called down there because he felt, he goes, you guys have always very fair to me and umpires throughout baseball, and we all understand that. But he said yesterday, let me explain why it happened.
And he did that, and we're going to show you the first base line here in a moment. And again, it's a very difficult call. Myers is going to roll out to Tulowitzki. The first 45 feet out of the box, you're establishing the baseline. But the final 45 feet, if you are not in that 3-foot box there, and you see the line there, George has it there, you need to be in that lane if there's a play where the ball deflects off you. Now, if you're inside of it, field side, or even, George, let's say somehow there was a screwy hop, the ball was touched, and now the throw is coming from foul territory. If you're in foul ground to the right of that line or to the left of it as we look right now, and the ball hits you, it's interference on the run.
See, and the thing is, you can establish your baseline or where you're going as a base runner only from second to third, third to first, and from, second to third, third to home. But that's why that lane is there, and that's why the call was made. So, Jerry, we apologize from up here. We learned something today in baseball. I'd always been taught. Oh, nice
Good play by Atkins. Yeah. Step up, throw out Jimmy Rollins. Nope, throws a little bit offline.
Difficult play, too, to get back to your feet.
Good job by Atkins just to get it. But again, the final 45 feet running to first, you need to get yourself back in that running lane.
When there's going to be a play coming up on the first base, exactly. And the play is called by your home plate umpire, not the first base umpire. He has obligation as prior to the bag.
And here's the base running rule 6.05. In running the last half to first base, or the first base line, if the runner runs outside the 3-foot line or inside the foul line and interferes with the throw to first base, the ball is dead and the runner is out. The runner is required to have both feet within the 3-foot lane or on the lines. And in Mike Everett's opinion, he was inside that line, even though he had run in a straight line, talking about Dexter Fowler.
See, as he's running up the line, and I've always been taught, anytime you're out into fair territory, you know, that's the one thing. If the ball hits you on a bunted play up that first base line and you're out into fair territory, then you're out.
Now, you might say because his foot hit the top part of the bag, then he had already got his base established, his baseline. There is a comment on that rule. It says a batter is permitted to exit the 3-foot lane by means of a step, stride, reach in the immediate vicinity of first base. The problem was Dexter never established that 3-foot area, or that 45-foot line, so he couldn't leave it then.
Runner going, and it's fouled off on the 1-2 pitch by Victorino.
Because I went down into the umpire's room right before the game, and I went to Jerry Davis and I said, "Listen, what about this addendum here? What about this?" Well, he said because he never established that baseline or that base path on this side or the outside part of the line going down to first base, he cannot then vacate it to get back into the last stride before the base. So it's one of those rules that you see happen and interpreted, but kudos to the umpires for getting it right, and something that I learned something new today.
And again, that's one of the reasons we pointed out again. First of all, because we were critical yesterday, we want to make sure that we go back and say, well, we were wrong. And I'll be the first to say that. The second part is, here's two guys who played a decade of Major League Baseball, and George and Jeff, and you do learn something new all the time. This ball's lined to left. Victorino has his second hit of the ball game. Ball's dropped for a moment. Smith keeps it in front of him. Rollins had a notion to move to third and then shut it down. So with 2 outs, back-to-back base hits, and that'll bring up Chase Utley. Utley hit into a fielder's choice his first time, a slow roller to short.
And one final point on that Dexter Fowler play is when I was going in to talk to Jerry Davis, the 2 umpires involved, Mike Everett, Brian Gorman, both of those guys then went into the Rockies clubhouse and were talking to Clint Hurdle, went in and explained the ruling or why they interpreted it the way they did. So, it wasn't just us saying this is a weird play. Even the umpires realized that. They went in and talked to Clint. Everything squared away.
Two on and 2 outs against De La Rosa. And that just missed, ball 1. This is the first, it's not a situation, but 2 on for De La Rosa. First chance to test his mettle, if you will, early in his first start of 09. And the slider misses. And here comes Torrealba out to the mound. De La Rosa is a guy that, because he gets a lot of strikeouts, last year nearly a strikeout per inning, his pitch count is not going to be what Aaron Cook's typically is. More economical, getting a lot of first pitch outs or early count outs on ground balls.
I really like Jorvik going out there and just letting Jorge give a chance to catch his breath. And then once he left and Jorge went to the back of the mound, took his cap off and took another deep breath now to be focused on this pitch.
And he misses on a slider, 3-0 with Ryan Howard on deck. Yorvi Torrealba was saying about a week or so ago during spring training, he said, Chris Iannetta and myself, we talked about it. He said, the gloves are off now with De La Rosa, with Morales. They've been around, certainly in the case of De La Rosa, that they're not going to baby them, and if they need to get after them, they will.
Well, and that's what you need and deserve out of a catcher. Chris does a good job of that along with Torrealba. I think more importantly with a guy like Torrealba to go out and say, don't be afraid of contact. Don't be afraid to throw the 95-mile-an-hour heater right down the middle of the plate. Let's see what he can do with it.
Three and 1 on Chase Utley. 2 outs, 2 on, and that's outside, ball 4. So Utley goes to first. And De La Rosa swung his arms as if he was disgusted with himself a little bit. Bob Apodaca, sensing that, is going to go out and try to calm him down.
Well, one thing about it, Drew, I think early in this game, remember how many of those strikeouts did he have on the changeup, and that's what he went to there. An off-speed pitch or changeup out of the strike zone. It didn't connect, and then you get frustrated.
Well, that conversation ensues. We'll check in again with Alana for more.
Thanks so much, Drew. You guys had mentioned that Yorvi Torrealba is okay with getting on Jorge de la Rosa and Franklin Morales. He's constantly teaching, especially with the Latin pitchers. I talked to him earlier today about his approach going into the season, knowing he's the backup guy. He said, you know what, it's exactly the same as it was last year, even though now I know I'm not the everyday guy. He said, I think I've calmed down a lot more this year. I just try to do my job, don't worry about the stuff I can't control. I try to do the best I can and work with these younger players whenever Clint Hurdle decides to put me in the lineup. This guy's a mature player, a veteran player. He does want to play every day, but he's going to do the best he can while he's behind the plate. Drew?
All right, Alana, thank you. So here's Howard with the bases loaded, and it's in the air to left center field, pretty well hit. And it's going to short hop the wall. Everybody's going to score, and the Phils are going to take a 3-2 lead. So Ryan Howard with a 400-foot opposite field bases clearing double.
Well, that's why he hits where he does in the lineup, folks. Why he's led the league in RBIs and home runs. He has some kind of power. Trying to ask that fastball to come inside. The ball ran to the outside corner, and Howard dropped the head of the bat on it, Jeff, and it had some carry.
Well, it did, and that's the thing. When you miss your location against a guy like Big Ryan Howard, that's the damage he's going to do. We talked about his numbers in April, but still, good big league hitter is going to put fat part of the bat on that ball when he misses it. But all done with 2 outs. That's the backbreaker. Those are the ones that hurt you.
But again, still going back to De La Rosa, what's done is done.
Yep.
Go ahead, get Jason Worth. It's a 1-run ball game. Move on. Too often in the past, when he's gotten in a little bit of trouble and he falls behind 2-0, it spins out of control. And he was able to harness it, as we talked about the final couple of months of last year. He had a period when he was with the Royals in 07, and he began the year in their starting rotation, where he was very good for about 5-6 weeks right out of the gate. But then it got away from him again.
Well, the one thing that happens, and it's a try-hard syndrome, Jeff. I think once you start to have a little bit of adversity, you try to throw the ball too hard.
Yep.
And it carries you out of it.
And that's the toughest part of this game that you have to learn, is when things are going bad, trying harder is not the right answer.
Well, I kind of equate it to golf. When breezy, swing easy. When trouble hits, just back it off and throw some different pitches to get it into the zone.
He missed badly there. That's the first time. The walk to Utley, they were close. That sequence to Jason Worth, he missed badly. Now 5 straight is reached. He's going to take a little bit of a walk, try to get himself calm. And he'll deal with Raul Ibanez. I think it's a real advantage, particularly when you have his kind of stuff. Lefties against this Phil's lineup. It is a left-handed dominant lineup.
Well, it is that. That should work to the advantage of him, to be honest with you.
Yep. Ibanez struck out looking his first time.
Even though that pitch was a ball, I like the call from Jorvich. So many times, George, and you know this as a pitcher, when you're starting to throw that fastball, you start to overthrow it, you change the release point on the breaking pitch, maybe finish out front.
Well, you got to stay back on the breaking ball, Jeff. On the fastball, you'll jump out at it versus staying back and allowing the arm to get in the proper slot to throw it. A lot of guys float out in front of the rubber. They break their hands too late, which doesn't allow the arm to catch up.
One and one on Ibanez. That's a good looking pitch. 1-2.
Look at the rotation. Everything's just perfect on it. Earlier did not get that call to strike, remember, against Ryan Howard. Here he does. All because of the work of Torrealba behind the plate.
See if he can put him away. 2-2.
Well, the pitch count is 63, 30 of those coming in this inning.
I'd really like to see that changeup that he's been throwing so effectively. Struck out Ryan Howard earlier in the ballgame. I'd like to see another one down.
Jeff, as hitters, though, do you look for that in the dugout? I mean, do you start to catch a pattern?
Well, there it was. Yes, you do. I mean, you see, especially a lefty hitter like Ibanez and a lefty hitter like Howard. Very similar. Howard has more power than Ibanez, but it's a difference if one guy's a home run hitter, the other guy's just a slap hitter. They pitch you differently, but two guys that have similar swings, yeah, you look for those patterns.
3-2, runners will be moving. Ground ball, fair to help, and that'll get the Rockies to the dugout. In the inning, with 2 outs, the Phils loaded the bases, and Ryan Howard brought them all around with a long double to left center. Phillies up 3-2, middle of 3. Time for our Xcel Energy fun fact of the night. Ryan Howard led the National League in home runs and RBIs at the All-Star break last year, but did not make the All-Star team. The first player since Hank Sauer in 1948 to not make the All-Star team, and then lead the league in home runs and RBIs. More than 10,000 homes in the U.S. are getting their energy entirely from solar power. Find out how you can, too, by visiting responsiblebynature.com.
Probably caught a lot of people by surprise when you say Ryan Howard was an all-star last year.
Here's the 1-1 to Jorge De La Rosa, and he fouls it off. De La Rosa last year had only 6 hits, but he drove in 6 runs, which led the Rockies staff. Foul ball. De La Rosa stays alive.
You could hear that down here. Jerry Davis right on the call from the Hyundai cam. And Jorge De La Rosa just nicks it, and then it hits the dirt before it goes into the glove of Coast.
Didn't nick that one. That is the 3rd strikeout for Myers. And that'll bring up Ryan Spilborghs, who skied to right his first time. Take a look at our Firestone leaderboard. Team batting average in the opening days of the season. The Marlins off to a good start. Rockies second among teams in the National League. You know, going into yesterday, there were only 2 unbeaten teams in all of baseball. After 3 games, George, it was the Royals and the Marlins.
Yeah, it's exactly
this ball's hit pretty well to right. Wirtz going back, still going back, and he makes the grab right in front of the wall. Thought Spilborghs had himself another double.
Well, you know what? And normally that's where the ball will carry out in towards the bullpens and down the right field line. But if you look at the flags tonight, they're blowing out to left field, not right field like they normally do. Got a fastball up in the zone. I mean, you're in the happy zone when you do that to Spilborghs, all the way up against the wall, and Wirth makes the catch.
Down here from field level, when that ball was first hit, I thought that was over Jason Wirth's head for sure, and then it just like a parachute on the ball.
That missed. I said Kansas City. I meant Texas was the only unbeaten team in the American League. Texas lost yesterday. The Marlins won. That was yesterday. The Marlins are losing 8-2 at home right now to the Mets in the 8th inning, so they're going to go down, it looks like. And if they do, 5 days into the season, George, nobody's unbeaten.
Well, you don't, you know, to go that distance anyway. I guess the best start, you got to go all the way back to the Detroit Tigers. What, 35-5, weren't they?
1984, and they went on to win a world championship. But usually there's some team gets off to a 5-6-0 start. Not going to happen this year. 2-1 on Seth Smith.
I struck him out on that curveball in his first at bat. I mean, pretty good diet. 3 curveballs, all about 76 miles an hour, and then a heater at 90.
Three and two.
Create your own Colorado Rockies collectible using your favorite photo at the photo store on ColoradoRockies.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own Rockies memory. So go to ColoradoRockies.com to find out how. First 3-ball count of the ball game for Mr. Myers.
Seth Smith just asked Jerry Davis, was that going to be a ball? Because you want to know, in case he throws you that pitch again, hey, is it going to come down in the same zone? Do I see the rotation out of the hand? What I'm talking about, breaking pitch away, and he just tried to foul it off. So is it going to be a strike or ball?
That's a strike. Second time he's caught Seth Smith. A 1-2-3 third for Myers. Phillies leading at 3-2. best way to save time and money. Tomorrow, the Rockies will finish this 3-game set right here on FSN against the Phils. And then it's off to Chicago, Wrigley Field, and the home opener for the Cubs on Monday. Off day Tuesday, Wednesday a day ball game. Thursday's an off day as the Rockies will be in Tinseltown over the weekend. A lot of road games, a lot of quality opponents in the opening weeks of the 09 season. Cubs, one of the favorites in the National League. The Phillies, the defending world champs. Dodgers, the pick of most to win the NL West. Bottom third of the order for the Phils. Jorge De La Rosa, George, in need of an uneventful inning.
Well, he does. Just save the pitch count more than anything. That's 67th pitch of the game thrown. 40 of those have been strikes.
1-1 on Feliz, who hit a jam shot. Little looper right at Todd Helton his first time.
But I think the one thing that would help him through that, obviously, is a lot of strikes early. With the walks previous, guys are going to take more pitches. Huey, I know you know that as a batter. You look at a guy's pitch count and say he's at 68, 69 right now. He's working into the fourth. The happy zone's about 15 per inning.
Oh, exactly right, George. And the hitters know that. Milt Thompson, the hitting coach for the Phillies, knows that. Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire. If you're not around the zone, George, you know that the umpire is not going to give you the one that might be a ball outside or inside.
Another shattered bat. That's how good his stuff is. Even in a 3-1 count, he blows up the bat of Pedro Feliz. 1 out. That'll bring up Chris Coast, the catcher. Affleck! Here comes the Duck with our Affleck trivia question. What are the 8 ways a batter can reach base? Jot them down at home. See if you can figure out all 8 ways.
You making your list, Drew?
You know, I've done this drill before, but I'm going to do it again because it's a lot of fun. Ball 1 on Coast. Two and 0.
How many you got down so far?
5. How you doing?
I've got 6.
Nice, good job. I got 6 now too.
Well, just because that I got 7.
You're lying.
Yeah.
This ball's pulled foul. 2 and 1. Phil's had an interesting day on Wednesday. We talked about it yesterday. He came from 7 runs down to beat Atlanta. They were up 10-3, and Atlanta contributed, of course, walking 4 runs in. This ball's popped up right around the pitcher's mound, it looks like. And Tulowitzki makes the catch. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com. In that inning, Jeff Houston, when they scored 8 runs to take the lead, 8 straight hitters had an RBI in the Phillies lineup.
How about that?
Only the second time in the last 56 years that has occurred. There was a strike on Myers.
I was talking to Mick Billmeyer, the bullpen coach for the Phillies. He said, you know what, in that whole inning, if they would have hit a grand slam, they would have still been losing 10-8. With all the runs that they walked in, allowed them to catch up like they did. Bobby Cox said that was just one of the strangest things he'd ever seen.
I'm sure he had other ways of describing
well,
it.
Well,
also.
that was a clean.
That was the media version.
Yes. That was a G-rated version.
That was the G-rated version. 0-2 on Myers. 1-2. 2 outs, nobody on in the top half of inning number 4. Phils with 3 in the third on a Ryan Howard bases clearing double. Have a 3-2 lead. Rockies got a pair on a 2-run home run by Troy Tulowitzki. His 3rd of the year. And Myers extends the at bat.
Have any more written down, Drew?
No, and you know what? I'm trying not to think too hard because then.
What he really needs, Jeff, is for Jacob to come back in the booth, figure it all out, and it'd be over.
That's
right.
What he needs. That's exactly what I need. My 10-year-old son.
And obviously they all wanted this pitch. I think it's a little bit off of the plate. Look upstairs to see what we have.
2-2. Ah, that's close too. 3-2.
It goes back to my point earlier. I mean, that pitch might be just off the black on the outside, but if you're not around the plate, you're not going to get that call.
Yeah, well, it was a couple of inches off the plate on the outside.
Yeah, with the pitcher hitting, though, you see that.
Yeah, but they swing at it. They're not swinging. Let's go.
There you go.
Well, he swung there. You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
1-2-3 inning. That's what De La Rosa needed. So we'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Good pitch here. There goes a bat. 3-2 Phils. Phillies leading 3-2, bottom of the fourth inning. Back upstairs with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. We're trying to come up with the 8 ways, our Affleck trivia question, that you reach base. I had 6 right away, Frazier. You hit, error, walk, drop third strike, catcher's interference, that's 5. Hit by pitch is 6.
Well, the one I came up with nobody on base, 3-0 count. Pitcher goes to his mouth on the dirt. It's a balk, go to first. It's ball 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to count it. I don't know if they're going to count it or not. Huey will be the judge.
Well, I've also got fielder interference.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
So
that's right. We didn't include that. Yet fielder, okay.
Fielder interference, catcher interference.
Yep, 2 different things.
So if you're hitting and a fielder interferes with what?
Well, either your ability to run down the baseline, that sort of thing.
All right.
Guy freaks out and tackles.
Tackles, yes. So, I mean, you got it.
Fan jumps out of the stands and gets you.
That's
9. You bum! Oh, wait a minute.
0-2 on Helton's line foul. All right, we're going to have to show the answer here momentarily. It's, you know what? I feel like we're playing the feud, and we're a little shaky on the 7th and 8th one. Frazier's balk. Huey's fan out of the stands tackling.
Not the fan, the fielder.
Pitch by Myers, another strikeout. He's got 5 of those. And Myers is on his game. All right, what are the 8 ways a batter can reach base? We know we have 6. Come on, Duck, move out of the way. A hit, a walk, hit by pitch, drop third strike, error. Oh, we forgot the fielder's choice. And then fielder's obstruction. So
that was my
fielder's interference.
No, that's right. You were right.
Fielder's
you can
choice.
reach on fielder's choice.
Boy, that's bad, guys. We didn't get that one.
We should have had that one. That was pretty
Although I do like George's balk.
George is right.
But that would be considered ball 4, though, I thought.
That's probably why they don't include it.
Without a pitch being thrown.
A walk.
That's where
Susan Strand of the truck came up with one, Huey. I reach on a walk, and you pinch run for me. You reached.
Yes. Which would probably happen, too. I'd have to run for you.
Thank you. Probably both. There's somebody come out of the dugout for both of us right now. 2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike, I should say.
That was a good question in light of what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Timely. Our Fox box up operator extraordinaire, Derek Mooneyham, came up against this ball, hit well to left's got a chance to get out. We got a tie ball game. Garrett Atkins, second home run in as many days, has tied this thing up. Got Brett Myers talking to himself.
That'll put a few smiles down in the dugout. Garrett Atkins happy to be back in the house. 4 RBIs now for Garrett. Slider on the outer half of the plate. I didn't think that bad of a pitch. Garrett just went down and got it. He was out on that front foot and lifted it all the way out and just over Ibanez and into the seats in left field.
Clint Hurdle made a comment in his press conference this afternoon before the game that he thought the turning point for Garrett Atkins was when he hit the ball to right field yesterday in one of his first at-bats.
Well, this was pretty close. Ibanez gets back a little bit sooner. He may have had a little bit of a chance there. Maybe not, but just barely got over the wall, but it only has clear by an inch.
Remember that catch he made on Jamie Carroll?
Absolutely.
That's one of the great over-the-wall catches. Honestly, one of the great over-the-wall catches I have ever seen.
Well, on the other side of that is he may have made the catch here too, but his familiarity with this ballpark, where he's not played many ball games.
That was the same day that Gary Matthews Jr. made his catch in center field.
Yeah, Ibanez gets number 2 play of the night, and Gary tops him up.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, because Ibanez, I've never seen a catch like that. And then Gary Matthews had 3/4 of his body over the wall in Anaheim. Fortunately, Ibanez didn't repeat the feat, and it's tied at 3. 2 outs. Here's Tulowitzki. He has a 2-run home run.
Atkins now 6 for 13 in his career versus Myers.
Think about the difference home and road last year for Garrett. 342 at home, 233 out on the road. And he's such a good hitter. I mean, guys are going to hit well at Coors Field. Big gaps. But Garrett's not going to hit 233 on the road this year.
The hitting eye is the big thing here. That background for the hitter is one of the best in baseball.
Tulo almost hit the batter's eye for Edge in the second.
Yes, he did. Got all over a fastball that stayed right up into the strike zone. Down in that area, Huey, just above the belt line, but not up on that chest-high fastball he has a tendency to chase.
Well, that's one he's really been working with Don Baylor with, trying to lay off that high fastball. It looks inviting when you get up there, but you just can't catch up to it. You might get it 1 in every 20 swings, but you're going to be out more than not.
Hardest fastball that Myers has thrown, 92. Back in the first, he matched it there with good location down and away.
Two and 2 on Tulowitzki. Wouldn't you say, Jeff, that more hitters now hit out of a slightly open stance than a closed stance? Of course, Troy hits out of fairly substantial closed stance.
Well, it really is, and I think a lot of that has to do with the aluminum bat growing up. You go ahead and open up a little bit because you can cover away with the wood bat and the guys, or with the aluminum bat, and the guys just get comfortable hitting that way. The problem is not getting back to that closed, keeping that front side closed. And Troy, what he likes to do is close that front side off immediately and then pull those hands in when he sees the fastball in, and that helps you use the whole part of the field.
He's got a good AB going right here. 3 and 2. You can tell he's locked in, Huey. Those 2 balls that he fouled off, he let, again, you hear this term all the time, but he let the ball get deep on him. He said, I trust my hands.
Well, yeah, you're right, Drew. And even that pitch that he took, he was still in a good balanced position, even though the pitch was pretty close.
And he earns a trip to first. One of the 8 ways you can reach first, Jeff.
The good old-fashioned base on balls. But how about that at bat? We saw him, Troy, the other day when he walked 3 times down in Arizona, and he does it again today. You can just tell the plate discipline is so much better than it has been in the past.
Yeah, no question. Brett Myers, George, has been very, very good. Only 4 base runners. Unfortunately for Brett, 2 of them were trotting around the bases.
Yeah, absolutely. 66 total on the pitch count right now for him. That's pretty good. He works here into the 4th inning. Again, you would like to see about 15 per inning.
Here's Yorvi Torrealba.
It's kind of the same problem that Brett Myers had in his opening day assignment. Only gave up 8 hits in 6 innings, but 3 of them left the ballpark.
Rockies last year went 43-38 at Coors Field. 1-0 this year. Tied at 3 right now in the 4th with the Phils. Now look at this. The top 5 ERAs, minimum 5 starts at Coors Field. Jason Marquis was terrific yesterday. Got another win. He's 4-0 now all-time at Coors Field. Ubaldo Jimenez, 345. The big unit. Rodrigo Lopez, who's trying to get back to the big leagues, George, after having Tommy John surgery. And then Brett Myers. This ball left center field, and Victorino's going to track it down. Ball hung up a little bit. In the inning, Garrett Atkins with 1 out. Went deep again. He hit a 2-run home run yesterday. Solo shot has tied things up as we go to the 5th. You by Amco AA MCO and by Tough Shed, built to last. Call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH TUFF. Rockies and Phils tied at 3. 3 runs, 4 hits for Philadelphia. 3 runs, 3 hits for the Rockies. But 3 of their hits have left the building. De La Rosa in the 5th. We'll see the top of the Phillies order. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy, an infield hit last time up. Garrett Atkins made a nice stop and made a good throw to Helton. It just pulled him off the bag slightly. So an infield hit. Pop out his first time up, and it's 2-0 on Rollins. This is obviously the real sticky part of that lineup. And 2 pitches out of the zone, and here comes Troy Tulowitzki to chat with Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, I like the leadership right here. I mean, this is what the shortstop does. He comes in, takes control. He's in charge of all the infielders and some of the outfielders. Go in there and tell them, you know what, you got to throw strikes. We're behind you. Let's go.
You know what? You got great stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Work through the catcher. Forget the hitters up there. That just missed. 3-0. And the Rockies have Jason Hamill up here in the 5th inning, just in case.
Well, part of that, and the 84 pitches thrown right now. That's number 85 in the ball game. 48 of those have been strikes. Your club's tied 3-3. Philadelphia not with an awful lot of looks at the new right-hander.
And a nice job.
Yep.
After falling behind 3-0, he gets Jimmy Rollins. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. If you could equate the amount of time and effort put in mentally and physically into succeeding on the baseball field and measured it by the dirt on your uniform, mine would have been black. And Mike Schmidt, the great Hall of Famer of the Phils, wouldn't be alone. I think anybody that's had any success in this game, you guys, George, as you well know, Huey well knows, that maybe don't make it to the big leagues, put in a lot of time.
No question. There's an awful lot of time. Folks, just go to spring training. Watch all these young kids down there that show up at 7:15 for early work and then on the field for 9 o'clock, and they finally get off there about 5:30 in the afternoon.
Here's the 1-0 to Victorino. 2 line singles to left for Shane.
I talked about it in yesterday's broadcast, the preparation that goes in just to play one single game, not only at the minor league level, the big league level, the tape, the swing analysis, all the stuff that you go through.
In the air to right field, Brad Hobb has a beat on it. 2 outs. And now Chase Utley. You talk about a guy who puts time in. Visiting with Milt Thompson, the hitting coach of the Phils. We were talking about Utley, and he said this guy's 24/7. He said I rarely say anything to him. He said because he knows he swings so well, and he's going to outwork everybody. He's in the videotape room. He's working on the tee. He's working in the cage.
And that's fun to hear as a former player. A guy's making a lot of money, one of the best in the game, all-star, all that, and still you hear a coach say, hey, he's one of the hardest workers.
Trying to get better.
I love to hear that.
You talk about the time it takes to get on the field. We've chatted about it vis-a-vis Todd Helton now with the back issue and all of the stretching he goes through just to get ready to go out and play the game. Well, now Utley's in the same boat. He said, you know, the World Championship was a wonderful, wonderful thing. He said, other than that, my off-season was awful because he had surgery and he's just been rehabbing, and it's tedious. Good fastball there, 1-1. And he's right now going through a similar process, still rehabbing, still doing a lot of stretching, just to get ready to walk up the dugout steps. Jorge misses there, 2-1.
That's where the trainers are so important. Scotty Garrett, Keith Duggar for the Rockies, all the time and effort they put in getting these guys just to play and the rehab and the stretching, all that.
I'll tell you another guy with the Rockies who does a wonderful job because he takes care of the rehab side of things is Scotty Moriarty.
Yep.
2-1, line drive, center field, base hit. So he went to the slider. And Utley keeps the inning alive. 2 outs, Utley at first, and Ryan Howard, who has all 3 RBIs for the Phils, a bases loaded double in the 3rd. Came with 2 outs.
Well, Clint's got 2 guys going down there. Spire to get out of the inning, I would think, and then Hamels to come in and finish it up. You know, to go ahead and start the next inning. Both guys are ready.
And you'd love to see Jorge, obviously, have success here.
Sure.
93 pitches, get out of it. And probably in all likelihood that would be all, but you leave with a pretty good taste in your mouth.
Absolutely. You're tied 3-3, giving your team a chance to win the ball game. There's no question. And a big hit by Howard with the bases loaded, 2 outs, trying to run a heater in, got out over the plate. Big man hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark in left center field.
Rockies have a semi-shift on. I say a semi-shift. Tulowitzki is swung up the middle. Garrett Atkins is probably 35 feet from the third base line.
I've seen some teams also employ it even more, where they pull the shortstop all the way over on the other side. That just shows you how they're going to try to pitch Howard.
Give you an idea, guys, how productive Ryan Howard's been in his still youthful career. He has 503 career RBIs in 577 games. That's outside 3-1.
Well, he's always in a position because he has been surrounded by good players, Huey, that he has the protection. You got to pitch to him.
Oh, you have to, and all the good hitters have that. It's obviously, some of them are going to be able to hit no matter what, but to have a guy behind you that can drive in the runs and do the damage, it just makes your job that much easier for the guy hitting in front of you.
See if he can make a pitch here. 3-1. He does. He threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball flat past Ryan Howard.
Well, that's the thing right there. 3-1, why didn't he do this all the time? He just reared back and threw the good old country fastball.
I'll tell you what, didn't it really look like Ryan Howard was looking for something else?
Something else. Well, you think about that. He struck him out on a changeup on his first at bat.
And there's a base hit with the runner moving. Utley will get to third. Now you have a right-handed bat, Jason Worth, coming up. 0 for 1 and a walk. Do you go to Spire, or you give De La Rosa one more hitter?
Well, I think he might go to Spire just to get him out of this inning, because the pitcher spot's due up second next inning.
And that's what Clint will do. He'll bring in Ryan Spire, who specializes in getting out of jams. With 2 outs, 2 have reached. Jorge De La Rosa will give up the baseball. Some really good moments for Jorge. A little bit of a problem in the third when he gave up that double with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 3-3. Back in a moment. Ryan Howard singled on a 3-2 pitch. 3-3, 2 outs in the 5th. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800-COMCAST. Ryan Spire against Jason Worth, trying to get that final out here in the 5th. And guys who work middle relief, you know, they don't worry about ERA. They don't worry about a lot of stats. They worry about inherited runners.
Absolutely. That's the way, I think, the way you ought to judge the business that you have. And I think with the Rockies bullpen in the first 4 ball games has been pretty good. The opposition has hit just 205 against them. walked 3 and 12 as De La Rosa can only think about the last couple of batters he faced here in the 5th. I was watching Spire all the way back to the Tulsa days where he was the World League's relief pitcher in all of baseball, 37 saves. That he just loved traffic. He would come in and in the 8th inning, get the last out, and pitch the 9th, a very resilient arm.
He had a great spring.
Well, the big thing about it, he's just not scared of contact. He may get beat some days. He may hang a slider. They may hit it a mile, and he'll get beat, but he's not going to get beat typically by walking people.
The other thing, he's so tough on right-handers, just the way he throws, he almost crossfires his body a little bit, steps more towards third base, and then circles the ball back around his body. Very difficult to pick up as a right-handed hitter.
And the size at 6'7",
yeah.
6'8" doesn't help either, for as far as the hitter making solid contact.
2-2. Torrealba sets up away, and it is poked to right, a base hit. Howard's going to go to third. See if he gets a green light. He does get a green light. Hop had some problem with it down in the corner. Here's the throw to the plate, not in time. All the way to third is Jason Worth. It is 5-3, Philadelphia.
Well, nobody feels worse right now than Spire does because those 2 runs charged to De La Rosa. Starting pitcher of the Rockies. All he could do, watch, and feel helpless down in that dugout. Fastball up, out over the plate. They wanted it down. Worth did a nice job here, folks. He kind of bailed on that Huey and just dumped it out down the right field line. And when it got over there, this is the part where you start chasing the squirrel down there in the corner. I mean, Hop didn't have a lot of trouble as we thought because we were blocked from here. He slid to pin it against the wall so it didn't run underneath that pad. See, watch when he comes in here, folks. He's going to slide to prevent that ball from getting in there and then just pick it up and then make the throw. That's actually a pretty good play.
It was a real good, because how many times have you seen it hit that corner and then kick back and go back more towards the field?
And Worth, with great speed, ends up at third base.
And Worth, good thing that he's as tall and has as long a reach as he does, because you're right, George. He did bail a little bit on that, but just is able to get enough on it, just dump it into right.
Barmes will throw out Ibanez in the inning, 2 runs. And now the Phillies have a 5-3 lead. All 5 of their runs have come with 2 outs. Well, the Phil's up 5-3. Jason Worth 4 for 4 yesterday, and a 2-run triple a moment ago. 8-9-1 for the Rockies against Brett Myers, who by and large has been very good. He's allowed just 3 hits, but a couple of home runs. And maybe another.
That's another. Had the sound.
5-4. Clint Barmes with his first of the year. He can do that. If you miss on the inner half to Barmas, he'll hit it a long way.
Great feeling for this ball club to realize when you get to the bottom of the lineup, you still possess the power, and as much as Clint moves guys around the lineup, Barmas has hit the top at the bottom, and again comes through here in the fifth inning. Hitting eighth, Omar Quintanilla. Pinch hit here.
George, you had it right on the mark. That had the sound. Down here at field level, it was a sweet sound to hear.
2-strike count on Quintanilla, his second at bat of the year.
This is where the way this offense is right now. If you're a middle reliever, when the phone rings, you say, "I got it," down in the bullpen. Because there's a chance to come into a lot of games where you're down 5-3 and pick up a lot of W's.
So you're going to say vulture.
Well, you can call it whatever you want. Still got to get outs. I just like the fact that this guy's can throw it in the air, man. Yeah, you can do a little. What is it, Dick Egan? Wasn't he the vulture?
No, Phil Regan.
Phil Regan, same thing.
Same era.
Same era.
Quintanilla's gone. That'll bring up Ryan Spilborghs. A couple of fly balls to right, including one right to the base of the wall. Alana Rizzo's out and about.
All right, thanks very much, Drew. I talked to Ryan earlier today about what it was like being an everyday guy, what it felt like. He laughed. He said, I've wanted to do it for a long time, obviously joking. And he goes, it's so nice to know that I'm going to be playing with these guys every single day. He said, it's also nice to know that even if I have a bad game, I'm going to be in the lineup the next day. That's obviously very different for Spilly as he's gotten his first time to play as an everyday player this season. He said, I don't worry about my personal numbers anymore. It's about wins and losses. Not that Ryan was ever a selfish guy, but you're always doing what you can at the plate when you get few opportunities. He said, now it's just about the wins and losses, and I like the way that it is, guys.
I was chatting with him about that today as well, Alana, and one of the things that will motivate an athlete is if you tell them, anybody who's a competitor, tell them they can't do something. And everybody likes Ryan Spilborghs, scouts like Ryan Spilborghs, but somewhere, somehow along the line, somebody said, and other people's bought into as well, he's not an everyday guy. He's a fourth outfielder.
Well, part of it, the crazy thing about that is the Rockies have never just said it's your position. They had Matt Holliday, they had Hoppin right and left, and the fact that he could play center field and what he could do out there. Well, Willie Taveras was here, Juan Pierre was here. A lot of guys were a part of this position, and now he's getting that chance.
He deserves it, a career 305 hitter in the big leagues. I think he gets the opportunity to play every single day.
2 outs, nobody on in a one-run ball game. Seth Smith against Brett Myers. Try to figure out Myers. He has struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. Well, the Rockies have been averaging 7.5 runs a game. So that's good for all the fans at Taco Bell, of which there are many. Here's the 1-0 to Smith. 2-0. Final line, by the way, on Jorge De La Rosa. 4 2/3, 5 runs, 6 hits. Walked 2, struck out 3, 99 pitches. This is a Ryan Howard. And that's all for the Rockies in their half of the fifth. Clint Barmas gets the Rockies within a run on his first round tripper of the year. 5-4. Rockies 4, top of the 6th inning. Next, this date in history, April the 11th, 1907, during the home opener at the Polo Grounds, the fans, growing tired of the Giants' lackadaisical play against the Phillies, began throwing snowballs onto the field. After being hit by a frozen sphere, Bill Clem, the home plate umpire, decides enough is enough and forfeits the game to Philadelphia. And that is the beginning of a great rivalry between New York and Philadelphia. They've thrown some other objects through the years. Jason Hamill makes his Colorado Rockies debut. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. Last week, Hamill picked up in a trade for AA pitcher Anuri Rodriguez. Hamill was pitching for Tampa Bay, trying to compete for the 5th starter spot. Tampa's loaded in their rotation. So much so that Price has been sent down, at least temporarily. And the first pitch he throws in the Rockies uniform, he gives up a single to Pedro Feliz. There's his career numbers in the big leagues. Mostly as a starter, George.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, 73 ball games. You see the overall record, the ERA and the saves. And the guy that'll possess a fastball, he'll set 90 to 93. He's reached 94, 95 before, but comfort zone 90, 93. Command can be an issue at times. Decent breaking ball. He had 2 back-to-back starts for Tampa Bay before being traded here. Went 6 innings in both of those starts.
To Chris Coase, first to throw over to first. Torrealba probably catching him, you would think, for the first time.
Well, he came out, on the off day when it came back. He went out and threw a little bit, but Yorvik wasn't here. I mean, he just threw Jimmy Wright, and then this guy's playing catch. I think Iannetta was here for a few minutes and watched him throw. But as far as game situation, yeah, I mean, this is absolutely kind of learn on the job.
Atkins hoping for a play, very close to the railing, and he can't quite reach it. A longer arm over there, Huey.
Or a bigger glove. I always like the bigger glove option. That was easier to try to get.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You go over there. What you do is you find the wall or the dugout, the railing, whatever it is. You reach for that. Then you get your positioning and try to reach as far as you can. And unfortunately, Garrett just didn't have long enough reach.
And now Torrealba will come out. Try to get on the same page with Hamill.
Notice how he's putting his right hand out there. That's where he's trying to find where he's at. And just about 6 or 7 more inches on that glove, and he would have been able to have it.
Well, the thing about it, too, you get over into that camera well area, folks, that's what, a 4, 5, 6 foot drop for you?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, that's not like it's, level ground over there.
Right, and that's one thing. Sometimes you're worried about, once you do catch it, am I going to flip over? A number of times we've seen that happen different ballparks.
Coast last year hit .263 with the Phils, hit 9 home runs. It's a great story. It's often been repeated now. He played 5+ years of independent baseball, 4 of them in Fargo, North Dakota.
Isn't that his hometown, though? Fargo? Wasn't he at home?
Yeah.
Yep. Still lives there.
Talk about living the dream.
2-2, fouled off again.
Let's think about the odds of playing independent ball for 5 years and then making it to the big leagues in your mid-30s.
Yeah, there's some guys out there, that do get that opportunity. But it's typically guys that have made it to AAA, got released, don't want to quit. They go down to, back to independent baseball, Jeff, and then somebody gets hurt. They need a AA catcher, AAA guy, whatever. And then you get back with an organization again. 5 years, wow.
3-2 on Coast. He originally went to college at a Division III school, Concordia, in Moorhead, Minnesota.
Wrote a book about his season. Wrote a book about his life in the minor leagues.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a ton of stories. You know, Fargo's in that Northern League, and the most famous team, George, in that Northern League is the St. Paul Saints.
Yep, and has been for a long time.
Swung on and missed. Good pitch by Hamill. Snapped that slider off, Frazier.
Yeah, really got great extension. Took advantage of that big body he has at 6'6", 6'7". Look at that extension and follow through. I mean, that follow through snapped on the outside of that left knee and made a good move on it.
That's one of those situations. Was that Hamill's call or Yorvi's call? We talked about Yorvit not being able to catch Hamill before this, so I'm sure that was Jason saying, hey, I feel comfortable throwing the slider in this instance.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to learn a guy's repertoire, his movement. I mean, how sharp does that slider move typically? Kind of movements he got on his fastball.
Well, you get up on your toes as a catcher, obviously, because you don't know what it's going to do. Is it going to have more of a side break to it, more like a cutter, or is it going to have the bottom fall out of it late in the strike zone? What kind of fastball does he have? Is it four seam? Does he have a thumb breaker and a hard sinker? Well, go to bat for your community and get free Rockies tickets this season. Colorado Rockies Home Run for the Homeless will be Sunday, May 3rd. For information, call 303-312-2411 or register in person at any of the Rockies dugout stores.
Meyer with a 1-0 count. Bunted it hard, it helped. And Todd will tag out Meyer. Feliz to second. Jimmy Rollins will come up with two gone. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelight.com. Rollins in the game is 1 for 3. Those at bats against De La Rosa from the right side, so now flip over to the left side. Jimmy, a great player and a bubbly personality in the clubhouse as well. This is a period also where hitters are trying to figure out, we talked about Yorvit catching Hamill for the first time. Well, Hamill's been in the American League in his career, so the hitters probably don't know him that well unless spring training a little bit.
But not very many. You know, 73 games, which you saw posted up there earlier. But spring training, there was one thing, and I don't know how many times that Tampa would play Philadelphia in spring training at all if the Devil Rays play constantly. Gary Matthews came back into the booth because he likes us better than he does his partners over there. And I think that Gary said they play all the time against each other. 3 to 6 times. So, you know, I'm sure Philadelphia has seen Hamill somewhere in spring training.
It's 3-0 on Rollins.
I guarantee each of these guys now, when they go back to the dugout, are saying to their teammates, this is what he's doing. We saw him in spring training, but this is how he's throwing now. This is how much it's breaking here at altitude. Whatever it is, these guys will start keeping a book on Hamill. A lot of times in spring training, when you're playing against an American League team or a National League team or vice versa, you really don't think about that other pitcher as much as you do when you lock in on teams that you'll see during the season.
With a changeup. And now Shane Victorino 2 for 3 with a runner at first and second.
talked about Victorino, the success he has had at Philly's uniform. Well, he's had it here against the Rockies, too. 349 career average against the Rockies, 21 ball games.
Here's the 1-0, and that fastball's not close. 17 pitches for Hamill, and 10 have been out of the strike zone. Maybe pressing a little bit, trying to make a nice first impression.
I try to overthrow the ball. That's been a little bit of the knock in the past, is the ability to not pound the strike zone.
A reminder that all of the Colorado Rockies games this year on FSN, all 150. Including the Sunday ball games, and all games are available in FSN HD. Two outs, which has been a problem for the Rockies tonight. All 5 runs for the Phils have come with 2 outs. And that's not there. Boy, you don't want to put this guy on. You got Utley behind him, Howard after that. Find a way to work yourself back in the count. Glendon Rush is now having to get up and fire. And that's high and away. So Hamill has walked up loaded, and I would think if Rush is ready, George.
No, he's not. He just started throwing, but he's a veteran guy that can pump it pretty quick.
Yeah, somebody may have to
So you're going to be forced
visit
into that situation to where you're going to buy a little time for him. Jimmy Wright standing on the other side of the bullpen, right up, just away from Rush. And that Jimmy at 6'7", he'd give you the tip of the cap to let you know whether they're ready or not.
See if the old game takes place where a guy runs in now and chats with Hamill.
I'm with you, Drew. I'm a little surprised that's not happening.
There's a strike. I mean, Utley hits everybody, righties, lefties, but you certainly, you know, when you're struggling to throw strikes, you don't want to get in a 2-0, 3-1 situation with Utley.
No, and the other thing, too, is just maybe let Hamill catch his breath for a second. Whether Rush is ready or not, just get him to calm down.
0-1, it's fouled off, so the count favoring Jason Hamill here, 0-2.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. As a hitter, you got runners on. The guy just walked a couple of guys. I know you're a great hitter, but why swing at the very first pitch?
That's a good question, and most guys would not. But Chase Utley figures, you know what, he's going to try to lay that first fastball in there. Why don't you go ahead and jump on it so see if you can throw a 4-spot up.
Well, and the thing about Utley, you get him 0-2, it doesn't really matter.
No, I mean, most guys 0-2, their numbers go way, way down. Not Utley's as much.
Protect, protect, protect.
He's so quick. That's the thing about it, is his swing really doesn't change from 0-0 to 0-2 because it's so short and compact anyway. We talk about Todd Helton and his ability to foul off pitches. Chase Utley's the same way.
That's the third time Torrealba's had to go out and visit with Hamill, and it has, I think, everything to do with the fact they don't know each other.
Well, they really don't. You know, that's, again, on an 0-2 count, where do you like to go? Do you want to go back foot slider here? Do you want to try to ride a fastball up above him? But if you go back foot, don't make a mistake. Even though Utley crowds the plate, it's got to get down there. And I think one mistake you do make, and that's when you try to throw a backdoor slider to him and work it to the middle of the plate because he can yank it. That is scary, and you're right smack in the middle of this game, 5-4.
Bases loaded. Here's the 0-2. No swing. Mike Everett at third.
Now you're going to look at it one more time right here where this pitch is. There's that hard slider. Just about induced him on it, but that ball was in the middle of the plate, too.
A very short stride. That bat didn't go past the plate, but that's what Utley can do. That takes strong wrist to be able to hold up.
Ground ball. Hamill's got to find it, and he gets it to Helton in time. So So Hamill works out of a bases-loaded situation. Now you can laugh about it a little bit. Bills by a run. Troy Tulowitzki with a man aboard, dead center field, and on out of here. And then Garrett Atkins with a home run. And how about Clint Barmitz with a home run? The Rockies have hit 3 out tonight. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Cam. With Jeff Houston and George Frazier, Milano Rizzo as well. I'm Drew Goodman. 5-4 Philadelphia, bottom of the 6th inning. Rockies will have 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. Todd Hilton, Garrett Atkins, and Brad Hopp. Todd has struck out twice against Brett Myers. Don't see that much.
All breaking balls. The last pitch, though, a fastball in at 91.
Third time through for the Rockies against Myers. See if they can figure him out. And I know you saw the 3 home runs. You say, what are you talking about? They figured him out. They have 4 hits.
Yeah, 4 hits, 3 of them have left the yard. He's been pretty efficient. Struck out some people. Struck out 6 in his first outing.
This ball is cut off by Utley. Takes a hit away from Helton. Rockies, in fact, do not have a single in the game. They have 3 home runs and a Brad Hopp double.
Huey, what do you think? I'll let you take it. 2 steps and a dive, huh?
Well, and that's the thing that Chase Utley's really improved his defense. That was the one knock on him when he first came up. But to be able to make plays like that, you dive, you range far to your right, and then still have the arm strength to throw a guy out from your knees. We saw him make a couple plays last year where he laid out on line drives parallel to the ground and snagged those. He's really, really improved defensively.
And Garrett pops it up in the infield. Post. He was struggling with that the whole way. And he's able to rebound catch it, if you will.
The wind has picked up a little bit down here now. The flags are showing that it's blowing more out to left field. The coach thinks he's underneath it. He'll try the little Willie Mays basket catch and goes right off the heel, but he had the other hand right there.
Well, it's all pretty, and it'll get on the replays tonight, but it's still an out.
Yep.
Hopp 1 for 2, a double.
By the way, Dollar Hot Dog Night's coming up April 28th. The Padres in town. The first 10,000 through the gates will receive a coupon for $1 on hot dog, courtesy of Hebrew National. Purchase tickets to that ball game in the Rockies ticket outlet or go online at ColoradoRockies.com.
One of Georgia's favorite nights of the year, on a regular basis.
6 ground ball outs, 5 fly ball outs, and 6 strikeouts. Been very efficient through this ball game.
2-0. 3-0 with Tulowitzki on deck.
What Myers has done tonight, unlike his last start, is to be able to get 2 or 3 different pitches over. That fastball, curveball, slider.
fastball still. I mean, he threw a couple at 92, but it's ranged most of the night. 88 to 90.
This ball on one hop at Utley. Myers works a 1-2-3-6 right in the middle of the Rockies' order. We turn the page to inning number 7, 5-4 Philadelphia. On FSN is brought to you by Mike Shaw Chevy Saab, Colorado's crossover and SUV headquarters on Colorado Boulevard for 50 years. Visit MikeShawAuto.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at Geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex. Find what you need when you need it in print and online at DexKnows.com. Ryan Howard takes ball one from Jason Hamill. This ball lined to deep left field, and a nice running catch by Smith. Anytime he gets the ball in the air, as strong as he is, you think it could go out.
Well, and you don't matter what ballpark he's in either, what part of the park he goes to. That's a big key for me. I mean, that's the one drive, deep drive in left center field. That one up against the wall in left field.
Bill Thompson was talking about him before the game. He said, I need to get him going to left field again. Every once in a while when he starts opening up a little bit early, you got to get him back online. Tonight, the double was to deep left center field. That was allowed out to left. And George, I mean, you make a great point. There's no stadium that's going to hold him foul pole to foul pole.
Nope, he can do that. Not use how many home runs he hits in Philadelphia and what he does with it. In the opposite field there, the ball just flies.
Jason Worth with a 1-1 count. Center field. Still he makes the catch. 2 outs.
Jason Worth just really stuck his bat out there. The ball kept traveling. Great jump from Ryan in center field.
That's probably the one guy in the lineup that is seeing Hamill a little bit more than anybody else. Talking about Ibanez because of Seattle days and the games he pitched over there.
Good pitch. Spotted that fastball, a little tail on it at 92 on the outside corner to Ibanez, who's 0 for 3. Quick and efficient inning. Last inning for Brett Myers. No action in the Phil's pen.
By the way, the two guys, want to know if anybody's seen him? Ibanez has faced him. He was 1 for 4, 250. The one guy that has seen him a lot and liked him was Matt Stairs, 5 for 8 with a couple of home runs.
Well, Matt's played a lot in the American League East also. Matt.
There's Matt.
Hey, he's one of my all-time favorites.
He just looks like he could just go playing a beer league softball too. I mean, that's
exactly.
that's the way that's his personality, and I mean that in a good way. Not what's he doing here.
Hey, you call him up and you say, hey, no restricted flights. You can hit 4 hole. You can have as many home runs as you want on Tuesday night, and all the beer you can consume afterward.
Hey, you say, sign me up.
But you know what? We have fun with Matt. Matt can flat out hit.
But look at him right now. What's he doing? He's talking about hitting. Talking with Jason Worth about hitting. That's the value he brings.
Uh-oh, this ball is tatered to right. And Ibanez has crushed one against Jason Hamill, and it's now a 2-run ball game, 6-4. For Ibanez, his second home run in a Phil's uniform.
Now let's look at the pitch. It appeared to be a fastball that just stayed to the middle half of the plate and up. Jorvin asking for that ball down. A misguide up on top about belt tie mistakes you will pay for, and obviously did here. There's a heater up and in on Feliz. But it went quite a ways. It went down that tunnel in right field above it. That guy reached out and snatched that. Wow.
Pretty good catch.
On Feliz is fouled back. All 6 runs now with 2 outs for the Phils.
Yeah, but isn't that what good teams do? Innings never over.
Dangerous offensive team, the Philadelphia Phillies. Second of the Cubs last year in runs scored, and that's a base hit. Bring up Chris Coast. Rockies in the 7th will have Tulowitzki, Torrealba, Barmes, and then the pitcher spot. The ball's been hit hard this inning. First 2 were line outs. Then the home run by Ibanez and the sharp single there by Feliz. And this ball's hit a ton to center field. It's going to dive mid-track, so Coast hits it a long way. That's the 3rd out. Ibanez has made it 6-4 Philadelphia with his 2nd of the year. Stretch time at Coors Field. Barmes, Brett Myers, who lost on opening day against the Atlanta Braves, is still out there for Philadelphia. He's allowed 4 hits. He's walked 1. 3 of the 4 hits have been home runs. 2-run shot by Tulowitzki in the second. Solo home run by Atkins in the 4th. Solo home run by Barmes in the 5th.
This pitch count at 93. Their master plan they'd like to get to, of course. To get to Matson in the 8th and then Mr. Lids in the 9th if they can get through here in the 7th.
Rollins. Yeah, he's got good hands. That is 7 in a row now set down by Myers. More often than not, he's had a first pitch strike tonight.
He's done a nice job with that. Work ahead, and he's been able to do it. Not only, I say pitching backwards. You see a lot of curveballs, sliders early, change-ups, and then whoop, here's the fastball. But he's had good command of all of them.
That first pitch strike, though, that's the one that sets the table.
Yeah, but it doesn't set the table with China when you can do it with off-speed stuff first, too?
Well, it doesn't matter how you set the table, but it's that first pitch strike. You could set it with a curveball, a slider, or a fastball.
But it allows that fastball to get a little bit quicker, too, though.
Yes, it does.
Two 2-0 on your V. Ground ball to third, fly ball to center field. George, looking around the ballpark yesterday, a regular season record 49,427, well over 50,000, almost 51,000 tickets distributed. That's the most ever during a regular season game. And we've got a nice crowd on a cool Saturday night, first Saturday night of the season at Coors Field.
And it is a little bit of a chilly night, but the excitement of baseball being back at home again, I think that's the big thing for everybody.
2-2.
I really only got chilly the last couple innings, though, guys.
You got your coat on here?
I got my overcoat. I had to put my gloves on. I don't have a pretty hat like that, but I have everything else.
Though I think you'd look cute in a pretty hat like that.
I think I would, too, but I didn't bring it.
Ground ball to third. Feliz. High throw, but Ryan Howard's a big man. 2 outs. Nobody on. Clint Barmes coming up. Check our Jimmy John's delivery of the night. It is Barmes with a home run, his first of the year. That made it 5-4. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game is now 6-4.
You guys, I had to pull out the overcoat, got the gloves on.
You're comfy.
Where's that red hat?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get it from the person that had it. Next time I'll think about it. I know Alana's, roaming around the stadium, and she's got her pretty hat on, and she wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah, allegedly, because we haven't seen Alana in a few innings. She may be in a nice heated suite somewhere.
Everybody else taking.
See, look at the hat. Look at the hat that she has.
Hey, it's not my fault that you're not prepared, Huey.
Out at first. Nice play up the middle by Jimmy Rollins. You want to talk about fast hands? That got out of the leather, into the bare hand, on to Ryan Howard very quickly. 6-4 Philly. Phil's 6, Rockies 4. Rockies have been out hit 10-4 in this ball game. Get your tornadoes. It's a lot of butter right there, George. That's how you like it.
If it's butter involved, I do like it.
Cinnamon on top. That's pretty good. Jason Hamill with a slider against Greg Dobbs. Pinch hitting for Brett Myers. 9-1-2 for the Phils here in the top of the 8th. Third inning of work for Hamill. Good career numbers for Greg Dobbs. Primarily has been utilized in this role. Pinch hitter in key situations. Turns on one and belts it foul.
Well, they got a couple of good left-handers they can go to down there. Dobbs is one, and you mentioned the other that's very good, Matt Stairs. But typically that's an ninth inning type guy to win the ball game with one swing of the bat. Well, for the ticket values in the ballpark, if you want the best ticket value, go to the Rockies season ticket plans of 15 to 25 mini-game plans. They're outstanding. All the packages offer substantial savings over the individual tickets. Season tickets guarantee postseason seats and exclusive events. A lot of that with the ballpark. Ground ball would help. 303 Rockies, or go to ColoradoRockies.com.
One out as the former Sooner, Greg Dobbs, is retired. You knew that, didn't you, Jordan?
Matson's warming up. Another guy still sticking around.
Greg Norton.
Yeah, Greg Norton's still sticking around with the Atlanta Braves now.
Good for Norty. Jimmy Rollins is 1 for 3 in a walk. He has scored a run. Ryan Madson, the 8th inning man, on the plus side for Charlie Manuel. Picking up a little velocity. That last fastball at 93.
Comfortable. Starting to feel a little more confident in his surroundings.
This ball to right. Tucks it away. 2 outs. That'll bring up Shane Victorino. 2 for 3 in a walk tonight. Victorino last year won a Gold Glove, as did Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy Rollins won the last couple of Gold Gloves for shortstops. Good look at Ian Stewart. And another hit for Victorino. This thing is heading toward the gap. Victorino will have a double.
That's like having 2 leadoff men. You talked about it last night. Victorino with his 3rd base hit of the game. He's been on base 4 times with a walk. He just went down and got this ball, shot it right out over Barmes' head with these enormous gaps at Coors Field. Automatically thought 2. A little bit of a stumble by Spilborghs and center. Still would have had 2.
The thing that makes him so valuable, along with Jimmy Rollins, they're both switch hitters, so you really can't flip him around, or they would pinch hit for him, anything like that. Flexibility for Charlie Manuel.
Utley pulls this one in the seats, foul. Chase tonight on a fielder's choice. Walked and scored in the 3rd on the double by Ryan Howard. Singled and scored in the 5th. He would come around on a Jason Worth triple. And he hit a comebacker with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Hamill trying to keep it a 2-run game outside. You know, 88 times in big league history, a second baseman has turned in a 100 RBI season. Chase Utley has 4 of those 88.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? History of the game.
Jeff Kent's got a few of them also.
Victorino playing some games out there with Hamill, dancing around. Garrett Atkins playing off the line, but I'd be surprised if he took off with Utley at the plate.
There's no point to it.
No, there's really not, but it just disrupts the timing of the pitcher and his focus.
I mean, you're going to score on a base hit anyhow.
Yeah.
You have a great hitter at the plate.
And to me, what that does sometimes, not maybe with a guy like Utley, but lesser guys, it also distracts the hitter.
2 balls and a strike on Chase Utley. Outfield deep, straight up. Infield straight up. That's a good pitch. He buried that slider pretty well.
Yeah, yep, hard slider on that back foot down and in here. That's one of my favorites.
Well, and that's perfect location, George. That's what you're looking for. Hardest pitch to hit for a left-handed hitter from a righty is that hard slider to that back foot. You swing over the top of it every single time.
Shattered bat and a bloop. And this is going to drop, and it's going to score Victorino. Mentioned a moment ago, the outfield very respectful, and you need to be of the power of Chase Utley. And that's a good pitch and a bad result. From Jason Hamill's perspective, 7-4 Phils.
Well, very much so. I mean, he did exactly what he wanted to do. Got it down below the label and on the hands enough that just the strength of Utley and his short, quick, compact swing allowed that ball to get in.
And once again, the Rockies' inability to get that 3rd out in an inning. All 7 runs tonight have come across when there were 2 men out. And on a few occasions, there were 2 outs and nobody on. That'll be all for Hamill. Grilli will come aboard to face Ryan Howard. 7-4 Phils. Rockies tonight 12-4, top of the 8th inning, 2 outs. Chase Utley a bloop single. He's at first. Jason Grilli will try to get Ryan Howard to end the inning. Ryan Howard drove in the first 3 tonight for Philadelphia with a 3-run double back in the 3rd. And he's also scored a run, so the big man is 2 for 4 tonight. Last year, led the league in home runs and RBIs again. Second in the MVP vote in the National League. Fairly close vote. Albert Pujols took the MVP trophy. 18 first place votes for Albert, 12 for Ryan Howard.
About a year ago, Jason Greeley inherited the second most of runners on base, 24, but only 7 scored. That's outstanding numbers.
There goes Utley, and no throw.
A big jump over at first, high leg kick, off he went. Just one little quick glance, nobody covered. Over Torrealba had to eat the baseball.
I think if there's any question about Chase Utley's hip, that was just answered. But the only problem now, you take the bat out of Ryan Howard's hand.
One of the hottest hitters they've had here in this series, Jason Worth, getting ready to come up, the big triple.
Yeah, and you know what? Charlie Manuel, as long as he's been around, he knew exactly what he's doing. He figures, all right, if Utley's successful, they'll put Howard on. And as George mentioned, you have a hot bat coming up in Jason Worth. Worth 4 for 4 yesterday. He had a 2-run triple back in the 5th inning. And he knows his ballpark. I mean, keep in mind, years ago, Charlie Manuel managed in Colorado Springs. He's respectful of the Rockies lineup. He's respectful of the ballpark.
Well, there's no question about that. He understands the ballpark. He understands I need to get as much as I can. I'm up 3. I need to get it to, if he can get it to beyond the Grand Slam to beat your range, he's happy.
So Grilly to Jason Worth. Talking to Jim Tracy about Jason Worth the other day. He managed him for a period of time in LA. He said this guy's an unbelievable athlete. He had trouble staying healthy in his Dodger days.
Pretty good bloodlines too.
Yes.
At the Schofields, Grandpa and Uncle, Dick and Ducky.
Dick and Ducky.
Ducky, I like that name.
Dick Schofield, who played with the Angels. Two-one on Jason Worth from Springfield, Illinois.
He just looked back at Yorvit and Mount. That ball took off. I like those little things between hitters and catchers. Yorvit said, now watch out for that slider down and away.
That's what he got. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Worth, the former #1 pick of the Baltimore Orioles back in '97. He was going to go to the University of Georgia, but he signed. We're talking about the bloodlines. Jason's mom was in the Olympic trials in the 100-meter dash and as a long jumper. Good pitch. 94 miles an hour, knee high on the block. Well done by Grilly. In the inning, another run for the Phils. They'll take a 3-run lead to the bottom of the 8th inning, 7-4. SN is brought to you by Southwest. With Southwest Airlines, fees don't fly with us. Visit southwest.com today. By your Colorado Hyundai dealers for a limited time, finance or lease any new Hyundai. If in the next year you lose your income, we'll make the payments for the next 3 months. Stand by. Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. 6 outs to work with offensively. The Rockies trail by 3 runs. Ian Stewart will pinch hit for Jason Grilli. Ryan Madson, the setup man for the Philadelphia Phillies, is on the hill. And the Rockies didn't have a ton of success other than the long ball on 3 occasions against Brett Myers. Myers gave up just 4 hits. 7 strong innings. Madsen with a quick strike.
Stewart has seen Madsen. He's had a hit against him, 1 for 1 in his career. Big numbers so far for him. 667 average.
With time, will throw out Stewart. Rocky's last base runner was Clint Barmas, trotting around the bases after leading off the 5th inning with a home run. Houston Street hasn't been used in a few days, so he's going to get some work at the top of the 9th inning, even if the Rockies are unable to mount a rally. Bill Borg's 0 for 3. Brett Myers went 7 innings, 4 runs on 4 hits, a walk and 6 strikeouts. Quest in-game box. Atkins a home run. Hopp has a double. Tulo has a 2-run home run. Barnes has a home run. You got to get ready. A little smidgen earlier, Huey, with Madsen on the hill. He's an upper 90s guy in terms of his heater.
And that's what I was just watching him, and how really he's kind of deliberate when he first starts off, and then the ball just jumps on you. A little bit of a longer arm action, but anytime it's 96, it's sneaky fast, and it gets on you, so you get ready earlier.
It's long on the backside, but when he gets on top, you know, I teach a lot of kids that when you get ready to go to the plate, put the gas on. And I mean, really bring your arm through the throwing zone as fast as you can. That's what he does real well.
Yeah.
It's long back there, but when he comes, it comes.
And the other thing that I noticed, too, is when he drops that hand back there, he really hides it behind his hip pretty well.
Well, he's staying on line with his body, and that's one of the things pitchers have a tendency to do. They'll drop the arm behind the body. See, they'll come back over in here with it. When you do that, it throws everything off. But he really stays on line with the arm and the body directional to the plate. I think that tricked everybody.
Change it.
Yeah, at 81.
That or a splitter.
Whatever it was capital N, nasty. He's calling him on the swing right here at 81. See it come right out of the hand. And it appears to be a split grip on the baseball. See that rotation spinning hard on the outside corner.
Seth Smith trying to dump one into left field. It's going to fall foul by about 10-15 feet.
Needs some more lumber, too.
You look at this Philadelphia team, obviously a ton of strengths for the world champs. Offense is number 1 for me, and then the 8th and 9th inning has to be 1A. Would you agree, George?
Oh, no question. I mean, this kid out on the mound right now, he's talking about the closers, and then you look at Lidge coming out of the bullpen. His slider's as hard as most guys' fastball.
Yep.
Big, strong, powerful kid.
I mean, their rotation's solid. It's not one of the elite rotations in baseball, though.
If Cole Hamels is healthy and a guy that you've seen in the past.
Well, you give Myers do what he did tonight. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he was. But I think their offense will make up for a lot of the pitching mistakes in that rotation.
Well, the guy who's supposedly throwing the ball great, and it's been a few years, is the guy the Rockies are going to see tomorrow, Chan-Ho Park.
They say his fastball's back in that 90 to 93 range, and a good breaking ball to go with it. Change up.
That'd be a big shot in the arm for the Phillies rotation. If he can do that the whole year.
Three and two on Smith. Elton's on deck. Top three in the Rockies order this evening. Combined 0 for 10. That won't happen much. Now 0 for 11. Madsen, 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3-8. 7-4 Philadelphia. After the ball game is always the post-game show hosted by Tom Helmer, and Tom has some of the details now.
Yeah, coming up after the game, Drew, we're going to talk about the power and the patience of Troy Tulowitzki. We saw a game a couple days ago where he walked 3 times. Tonight he goes deep again. We'll talk about that. Also the debut of Jason Hamill. We'll have George break down his performance. And of course we'll be in the clubhouse for all the post-game sound. That's coming up right after the game, Drew.
All right, Tom, sounds like a good plan. Staying in the ball game in left field is Ian Stewart. Smith comes out of the ball game, and Houston Street is familiar with the 9th inning. Normally it's to protect the lead. He's getting some work. The Rockies the last couple of days have not needed him. Haven't been save situations. They've won in blowout fashions. Final ball game in Arizona, and yesterday's home opener against the Phils. Torrealba has something going on here. And then Keith Duggar's come out, head trainer, to visit with him. Don't do that. That's the oblique. That's what everybody's getting these days. Clint Hurdle right behind him. Carlos Ruiz strained his oblique yesterday. Bad enough that they had to put him on the disabled list. Look at Chris Iannetta, the backup tonight. This is the second start this year for Torrealba. So here we go, Street to Ibanez. That's fouled off. Ibanez saw plenty of Street the last few years, both playing in the American League West. shift on for Ibanez. Outside, 1-1. Ibanez 3 for 15 against Houston Street.
Now, what you hope for out of this situation more than anything else, Drew, you don't want a closer going out there and all of a sudden getting a 30-pitch inning where he blow you up for tomorrow. You're trying to get him to work. You want to get consistent, quick work.
3-1. That pitch just missed. Left field and deep. Stewart going back, and he's not able to make the play. So Ibanez at second to lead off the 9th inning. Stewart has not played, as you know, a ton of outfield. He's a third baseman by trade.
Yep, this ball got off the bat pretty quick and then tailed away from him. Not sure he got a good move on the ball off of the bat, anticipating to carry that ball.
Scored a double for Ibanez. Pedro Feliz comes up. 13 hits now for the Phils. Feliz 2 for 4, a couple of singles. Ibanez, good solid player, real good player. Those guys have flown beneath the radar. He plays way out west most of his career, a few years in Kansas City, 2 tours of duty in Seattle.
He won't be under the radar in Philly.
No, he won't. How about the parade in Philadelphia on Broad Street, George? And it's a great picture of it on the cover of the Phil's media guide. 2.5 million people, it was estimated, poured out for that parade. Even if they're exaggerating by, say, 1 million, that's a lot of folks.
A lot of folks showed up. There's no question about that.
This is served to center field. It's a base hit. Ibanez coming home, and the throw's not going to get him. Another run for Philadelphia. It's 8-4. Philadelphia can do that to you.
Well, they do it in a hurry, too. I mean, yeah, should the ball been caught and left? Probably, but the ball still hit hard. I mean, it's still 355, 60 feet from home plate. And this line drive right back up the middle. Street at 9 pitches right now.
Chris Coast 0 for 4. Smoked past the diving Garrett Atkins. A base hit for Coast.
Here's your buddy, Drew. Left-handed hitting Matt Stairs. Hard sinker down and in. Caught the top of the baseball. Hit very hard right at Garrett Atkins at third base. He gets on into the outfield.
Yeah, George, plenty of action elsewhere in baseball. The Pirates beat the Reds today 10-2. in that ball game. Pirates hit a few home runs. Nate McLeod is second. Doman is first. Andy LaRoche is first. Paul Mahone got the win. Johnny Cueto took the loss. St. Louis beat up Houston 11-2. Wainwright over Oswald. Oswald's 0-2. Albert Pujols, he's pretty good, isn't he?
He has been for a while.
He had a couple of home runs today, George. He's got 3.
Manny Corpus up throwing in the Rockies bullpen. Brad Lidge set to pitch the 9th for the Phillies.
There's a strike. Stairs, 4 career home runs at Coors Field. Down the line, foul. Feliz going back. Matt Stairs at the plate. Turned 41 back in late February from New Brunswick, Canada. Lives now in Bangor, Maine. Home state of our Mike Fox, our producer. Broke in with the Expos back in '92. Huey, did you overlap with him? Oh, Huey's gone right now. He's out of the postgame set. Have to ask Jeff later. Played with Boston, a number of years with Oakland, some really good years with Oakland. One year he hit 38 home runs, drove in 102, 26 home runs, drove in 106 one season. So Chicago, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Texas, Detroit, Toronto, and now Philadelphia. Got a lot of jerseys up in the basement.
Well, yeah, a few rings too, doesn't he?
Well, that's what
There
the
you go.
World
Give
Series
me that.
last year.
You're looking at that.
Last year, first time he's got a ring.
Yep, Philadelphia. Division series with Boston, Oakland. Philly's one of those guys that has the ability to come off the bench late in games and hit it very far. He doesn't need it a couple swings to get loose. And he's not going to get cheated.
Two and two, Feliz and Coast on. 3-2. Got him on a changeup on a 3-2 delivery. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, maybe not even in the right location you'd want to put it, but it's that big move on it. You know, and it has that same appearance as that hard sinker that Houston throws, and then here he threw the changeup. Totally fooled Matt Stairs.
Jimmy Rollins for the 6th time. Generally not a good sign in a 9-inning game when a guy's coming up for the 6th time.
No, it is not.
Other scores in the National League. Mets beat Florida. That's the first loss for Florida. So every team in the league, in both leagues, have been beaten now. Jose Reyes hit a home run his first. Livan Hernandez, very good today for the Mets. 2 runs in 7 innings. Ricky Nolasco took the loss for Florida. Atlanta beat Washington 5-3. Atlanta off to a nice start. They're 4-1. Washington is 0-5.
Pretty good matchup down in Florida tomorrow. Johan Santana, Josh Johnson will go at it.
Cubs beat Milwaukee 6-5.
How the Cubs doing? They 3-2 now?
Cubs 3-2, Milwaukee 2-3. This ball's popped, fouling out of play. Soriano hit his third. Fukudomi hit his second. Aramis Ramirez his second for the Cubs. Prince Fielder is first for Milwaukee. Dodgers beating up the Diamondbacks in the desert 11-1. They're in the bottom of the eighth. Orlando Hudson, a home run for the Dodgers against his former team.
Who started that ball game? Was that the game Max Scherzer started? Is he back yet?
I'm taking a look, Frazier. 1-2 on Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, I think Petit started that ball game in place of
He did. He didn't pitch badly. 3 runs in 5 innings. Struck out 6, walked 2. They got a ton of runs off Buckner. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 runs on 4 hits, walked 2.
See, I blame that on the manager. Left him out there way too long.
He's popped up left field. Stewart.
Yeah.
2 outs. And that'll bring up Victorino. Stoltz started for the Dodgers. They had to bring Stoltz up, George. Dodgers had another injury.
Clint Hurdle, is that Hurdle? Yes, it is. Clint Hurdle's coming out, and not for any other reason, folks, than the pitch count. He's at 23 right now.
So Houston Street goes 2/3 of an inning. We'll come back 8-4 Philadelphia. Tonight, 8 runs on 15 hits. 23 pitches for Houston Street. In 2/3 of an inning, here's Manny Corpus trying to get that final out in the top of the 9th. Ball 1 on Shane Victorino. Victorino's been busy today. Single in the 1st, single and scored a run in the 3rd. Fly ball right field in the 5th, a walk in the 6th, a double and a scored run last inning. And he hits this in the air to right center field. Pretty well struck. And a long running catch by Spilborghs. He had to run about 50 yards to get to that baseball. In the inning, a run on 3 hits for the Phils.
Colorado. Brad Lidge coming into this one to close this one out for the Philadelphia Phillies. And baseball fans in the state of Colorado no doubt know very much about Brad Lidge. The former Cherry Creek standout was honored earlier today by his former high school. The alma mater gave him the 2009 All-Star Award. He's the first recipient of the award. His former coach and principal were in attendance. Coach Mark Johnson said he praised Lidge for not only his success as a baseball player, but how philanthropic he has been throughout his career, giving back not only to Cherry Creek, but several communities in the state of Colorado. Nice to see a Colorado kid have some success, even if it's against the Rockies right now. Brad Lidge, a Colorado boy, guys.
Tell you what, Brad's a great young man. I'm not saying that just because he's from around the corner. He is, as you said, very philanthropic. He is a local guy who's done well and deserves good things. He has 45 straight saves. This is not a save situation now with the 4-run lead. Last time he blew a save, September 23rd of 2007, when he was still pitching for the Houston Astros.
Powerful stuff, that's all it is. I mean, hard sliders, good fastball.
Well, Brad still lives in Colorado. Todd Helton will lead things off for the Rockies. Todd is 0 for 3 tonight. He's got plenty of zip on the fastball, mid-90s fastball. It's a slider that's devastating.
Well, it really is. The bottom just drops out of it. 4 for 9. You see that against Lidge with a couple of strikeouts for Todd Helton.
A lot of people remember late in his Houston days that he had trouble. It was really more 06. He got it straightened out the second half of 07. He was telling me earlier that he had a lot of confidence going into 08, whether it would have been still with Houston or if he got moved on.
Well, both ballparks, the one down at Houston and, of course, Philadelphia, are bandboxes. You're going to give up some runs down there.
Yeah, I mean, you say you go unblemished for a season. I don't care where you're playing. Much less, as you suggest, George, one of the best hitting parks in the game. 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Garrett Atkins, a home run in 3 trips tonight. Also ground ball to third, and he fouled out to Chris Coast, the catcher. That's off the plate, 1-1. Talking about the Dodgers' early season injury, Hiroki Kuroda was placed on the 15-day shelf. That's why Eric Stoltz was brought up. Center field, deep, but it'll stay in the yard. Victorino makes the catch.
Yeah, a couple of grains from landing out there with Huey. I mean, that's about what it was.
Yeah, I'm out here in center field now. The guys made the trek all the way out here for our post-game show. Hopefully in another few minutes after the Rockies rally, but what a neat perspective, and the fans get out here in center field.
Yeah, and earlier on, the stands above you were pretty filled up. The rock pile. Here's Brad Hopp.
How many did they have tonight to the game? I didn't get an attendance. Dougie?
Did you write it down?
You never miss anything.
He's still rounded back into form.
I would say 36,000. Give or take a few.
It's a hard slider.
Yep. You know, an average fastball at 88, 89 miles an hour in the big leagues, and then you see that slider at 86, and he can pump to 90 at times. But it has the same movement on it, which makes it that much more difficult.
2-strike count on Brad Hopp. And he gets him with a slider in the dirt. Tonight was Philadelphia's night. They win it 8-4 to even up the series at a game apiece. Ryan Howard, a big 3-run double early on to give Philadelphia a 3-2 lead. plenty of offense tonight for the Phils. George, they can do that.
Yes, they can. They'll put them up in a hurry on you, and that's what ended up happening.